so I think fear has a very important purpose that should be honored and esteemed.
Absolutely. Influence, and I show up maybe as a new person, how will I be received? How will I be perceived?
I have.
Yes.
You gotta step back in as you feed into that.
Absolutely.
That foundation will always hold you.
Welcome to Rafa. To my right, I have Chauncey. To my left, I have Titus, also known as Twin, and I am Ashley. We want to welcome you to this beautiful, beautiful space, this beautiful anointing of a healed perspective by which we call Rafa. We want to invite you into the conversation. Feel free to kick back and relax. Feel free to receive what it is that we're giving, and then by the end we hope that you want to contribute to the space. This space is intended for you, fully with you in mind. As we are healing, we want you to be healed also. So today we're going to talk about
stress.
Oh, how many of us have been out here stressing? Is COVID itself not a stress?
Oh my God.
I believe that it is. It's affected every aspect of what we do and who we are. So let's open up with that. Let's open up with that. Not just what you do and not just where you go, but who you are. COVID has come in and affected a lot of spaces.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, this is a really interesting time. This is what traditionally is a back to school time. It's always been my favorite time of the year. I'm a nerd. I love school. I remember it's like, okay, so who's gonna take me shopping? My mom and my dad. And can we go to Parisian? Right?
Parisian. Wow,
and it's just, but it's something this time. It's something different this time about the back to school energy. It's like it's got this like cloud over it, and we kind of want to talk about that because whenever you're used to something giving you all this energy and all this joy and all this excitement, whenever there's this like cloud or there's this thing that makes it darker, it pulls your energy down. Yeah. And so with all of the stuff, all of the health concerns about whether or not kids can be actually present inside of a building or whether it would be safer for them to be virtual, all this talk about going back to work and how many people can be in the office at a time and who's going to be doing the temperature checks and who's going to be doing all this stuff and confessing, admitting that they've been exposed to COVID. Like, who's going to do that, right? Right? So there's all this stress, right? How can I live and be safe, right? And so we basically just wanted to start this conversation by acknowledging that there's something unique about this time, this season, that causes us to carry around an inordinate amount of stress. Burden. Weight.
And have our energy drained.
Yes.
Have our bodies feel a little bit more, have been feeling a little bit more recently.
Yes.
With the coupling of COVID, the coupling of the police brutality, the coupling of the mass amount of life shifts and changes that are happening. Not only is it a mental thing, but it's now affecting the body as well.
Absolutely.
And one of the ways that that as the breath worker, meditator, worshiper in the group, I personally will often offer, and on my own time, offer myself a chance to sit. And it's something that is it's an enormously powerful thing that we can do. Something that anyone can do. It's not relegated to a building or to a time frame or to a group of people. Anyone, anywhere can simply sit and observe themselves, allow themselves to find stillness. I read somewhere recently where movement is meditation for the body, stillness, meditation for the mind. And to be able to find stillness is something very, very important. As you find stillness, you of course are able to find your breath, observe your life force and life energy, and then become open to whoever, whatever source exists that you connect to, and allow that source to then enrich you and to empower you as well. So I would love for us for this moment in time, before we get into deep to our conversation, to sit, to breathe, to meditate, and to allow our spirits to connect to the high spirit that we have access to. And of course, if you're at home, you want to join us, find a comfortable seat wherever you may be. If you're in a chair, on the floor, in the car, find a place comfortable. Softening your shoulders, relaxing your eyes. You want to close your eyes. You want to go to the depths of lengthening your back to ground even more. I enjoy that myself too. We're gonna sit for about a minute and a half or so, focusing on an intention. And I'm gonna offer the intention of just your breath. Nothing too deep, nothing too intense, nothing too far off, just simply your breath. As you relax, as you settle into stillness, soften your shoulders again, relax your face, your jaw. Allow your hands to rest softly, gently, either on your knees, between your legs. Taking a few deep breaths in, and a few deep, slow breaths out. Because our minds are so full of chatter and thought, it's not going to be an easy thing to do, to quiet our mind. The goal isn't quiet, the goal is observation. So observe your thoughts, observe what happens, and then as you observe and become aware of the observation, gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice how your breath moves in through your nose, down your throat, into your lungs, and back out through your mouth easily. As you sit, reflect on what you see, on what comes up. Delight in what you observe. And I will call you out of meditation within 1 minute. Relax your shoulders. Soften your face. Enjoy the journey of your mind. And your next inhale, make it a nice, deep, slow inhale through your nose. Chest expanding, shoulders rising. As you exhale, sigh the air out through your mouth. One more time, big inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Gently open your eyes. Coming back to present. Coming back to your body. Coming back to energy and to life. That's a practice that I offer, that I navigate myself, that I oftentimes will carry with me throughout the day. Sometimes meditation is assumed to be a time frame, a seated experience, which of course in its best form it is. But because life exists, breath exists wherever you go, I'll often find myself in moments breathing, observing, allowing myself to view what's happening inside of me in a moment, in a conversation, in a situation. And I think that for me has been a sense of meditation and somewhat of a prayer as well. A way to step aside for a moment from the chaos of the day, of this situation, of whatever's happening, and connect to self, connect to spirit, to connect to God, and get some more insight and some more foundation and grounding as well. So I offer that tool to you guys. It's free. It takes breath, takes awareness, and I think it's something that can definitely be utilized more and more in this time. It's something that you're also going to, of course, find here in Rafa space as well, for sure too. So yeah, thank you guys.
You mentioned a couple of things in your opening comments. I'm so glad you shared. I have a couple of questions. What was the quote that you said you read recently about movement for the body and stillness for the mind?
Mm-hmm. So movement can be meditative for the body, stillness can be meditation for the mind. And that's a paraphrase, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that for a couple of reasons, but the one I want to mention first is, and maybe only, is that this season of stillness that we're in right now, there are a lot of people, I think, and when it first started, I was one of these people who are experiencing stress just because the stillness is not chosen.
Absolutely.
Stillness is forced.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that is not an American way.
Mm-hmm.
We're not used to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you claim stillness and repurpose it for our good. So that's one part. And then the other thing you said, whomever or whatever you believe. You have this inclusive way of speaking about meditation that excites me.
Which is a gift.
Oh man, you never hear anybody talk about prayer with a whoever or whatever attached to it, and I love that. I now prefer that kind of language because you never know who's in the room with you, and sometimes we make the assumption that if we're talking about prayer, then we must all agree about the whomever or the whatever, and sometimes it's not necessarily so. So. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
So I love that you just highlighted this. So that just means that prayer is for everybody. How you find yourself in prayer, how you find yourself in meditation. I think it's a remembrance thing.
Mm-hmm.
You should remember that as something that is yours. It's a value, it's a gift that you can go and you can take an opportunity to commune with God. You can commune in stillness. Be still and know that I am. That's a huge.
And you can't really know until you are able to be
still. That's it. And stillness to me is such a gift. Thank you for bringing us back to the invitation of prayer. Because again, meditation and prayer, in my personal opinion, are essential.
And are hand in hand.
They're hand in hand. They are hand in hand. Why? Because when you're communing with God Almighty, when you're communing with a purpose and an intention far greater than your own, you then should sit and reflect. That's an honor position. Then you should honor self. You should honor what you have going on, the stresses that you have. You should, and to me, it speaks also to love. Loving yourself enough to be still. Loving yourself enough to be able to commune, reflect, express, become aware, receive revelation, intention, motivation, being energized, being activated. These are all things that I feel like you gain from a place of prayer. You gain from a place of stillness. You gain from a place of meditation. And the mind needs an outlet. It needs an aspect. It needs a place to, if it's going constantly, and then you're stressed, what relief do you get other than trying to go look for it in a bottle or go to look for it in a pill or
In a body.
in a body? So these are all external things, and you're lacking to gift yourself something. And so I just think that's beautiful that, yes.
I also think that that the Almighty, the highest spirit,
Yes.
the omniscient power
Yes.
always speaks,
Yes.
always is communicating with us and to us.
Yes.
And as we are able to sit and in a combination of sitting to truthfully experience what's happening
Yes.
with us, because we oftentimes bring to God everything else,
Yes.
but don't really honestly, truthfully bring to Him us
Yeah.
and what's
Self.
going on with this.
Absolutely.
That gives us a chance to then bring this truthfully, holistically to this power.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That
I
is
love that.
in a constant way communicating with us and to us. And one of my friends
I love
talked about how she and myself in many ways too allow for my environment and nature to speak to me as an affirmation almost, and as a directive of what my present body and my present needs are. And I can't do that if I'm everywhere else.
Absolutely.
If I can settle
Absolutely.
and then observe my surroundings
Absolutely.
and then receive what the constant communication is from the highest power, I can then of course tune in that highest power, that knowledge, and then actively move in the direction as well.
There you go. I love it.
You
I
said a
love
lot of things, and when you said that too, you're digging deep. I'm not used to you digging this deep.
I'm hearing one key word is relationship.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it all. I want you to share a little bit about your understanding of always speaking. I don't know if I've heard you articulate that way. Because I know you, I think I know some of what you mean.
My language.
But could you share, because those are strong words. There are some people who are stressed because they feel like God is never speaking.
Right.
And that with all of the things that's happening now currently, it seems like they're left to interpret
Absolutely.
these events
Absolutely.
and make meaning of them
As something that God is.
as something that God is being silent about or not speaking.
Absolutely.
So could you elaborate some on how you meant those beautiful words? God is, I appreciate them, and I want to hear more.
So I'll say this, primarily when I was thinking to the thing of the highest conscious and highest spirit always speaks. And growing up in a Christian church, there was a term, a phrase, that the Bible is God's first book and nature is God's second book. I'm not sure you guys are aware of that
Exactly. Never
heard that. Go ahead.
So with nature being God's second book, nature being a direct avenue through which spirit speaks, whether it be literally this nature or even this nature here, it all speaks, which is now biblical, speaks of His glory, speaks of His intention.
Come on with the biblical.
So with that all happening, come on, y'all.
Oh, go share, man, share.
I want Him to be exalted. That's all I want Him to be glorified. That's all I want. So speak, sir.
However, I do wanna to specifically address Chauncey's point of, and Twins Ash's point of, we oftentimes see chaos, and we see disarray, and we even see death and pain and loss as an absence of God, an absence of order, an absence of so many things. But I believe from my practice of meditation, I believe from my practice of self-awareness, I believe from my recognizing that I am a part of all, that in moments in life, because I am here and alive, because I believe that there is a all-knowing, all source. That source is constantly emitting knowledge, emitting energy, emitting power, and whether it's believed to be a will with a mind and a desire, or whether it's believed to be an energy force that continues to move life forward as well. What's happening around us, it all is a part of that mind. I'm going to say mind. Part of that mind.
God has a mind.
Part of that mind.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Why are we afraid to say that?
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
I think that's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.